So you started hitting the gym. You got the body game, right? You might have guess grew out your beard, got your beard looking nice. You like, man, I'm a real man now. I'm a macho man now. But no, you still walk around looking like a bride. You still walking around like a bride. A lot of guys act like women nowadays. And today we are talking about 5 feminine habits that are making you look like a weak man. Making you look pathetic. Making you look like a woman, really. Y'all know the deal is basically aka Cole Brown Official. We start number 5 and we go down to number 1. So number 5, the reason why you look like a weak man through these feminine habits is you are over concerned about your looks. Guys are over groomed. And you might see some guys online, the looks master guys, like, it was cool. But dudes take that shit to a different level. I've known guys, they line up their hair every single day. They plucking their eyebrows every single day. Like, why are you so concerned? Or the guys that go get surgeries, it's like, are you that insecure? Guys breaking their legs to get a couple more inches. That is very feminine. To be over concerned about your looks. Should you look good? Absolutely. You want to look good. You want to look sharp. Get your hair cut on a regular basis, stuff like that. You know, sometimes I slack off. You know, there've been times, if you look at my old videos, sometimes every now and then I might go a month without a haircut. You know? And I realize, like, I should present myself better online. But it's like, I'm not super concerned with it. Like some guys, they won't leave the house. They won't go out if they don't have a fresh cut. Oh, I haven't been to my barber in 2 weeks. I can't go anywhere. It's like, bro, you care way too much. Way too much. You too concerned about your looks. You're acting like a random bimbo in Miami. That's what you're moving like when you think about getting surgeries. When you're so concerned, oh, I need to pluck my eyebrows. Like, chill, my boy. Or you see guys like, I understand the style. You know, guys kind of push the envelope sometimes. I'm not the most flashy guy. But some guys, they push the envelope. They start wearing crazy stuff. But I done seen dudes with their nipples pierced. And I'm just like, bro. Like, maybe if you like guys, like, do your thing, I guess. But it's like, some guys, they just go overboard with the accessories. You know, you're going way too far. Stop being so concerned about your looks, though, man. And I think this is the way a lot of younger guys are going. They get way too invested into looks maxing and all that stuff. Like, do you want to improve your looks? You know, work on growing your beard maybe. You know, dress better, getting your hair cut, find what style fits you the best. Yes. But that's where you should draw the line. Once you start going to, oh, I need this surgery, I need to do, it's like, chill. Chill. You just need to hit the gym and you need to get a lineup every 2 to 3 weeks. That's all you need. Make sure your skin looks good. Start eating healthy. If you were healthier, you would look better. You know, a lot of guys, they think, oh, I don't have the genetics to look good. I'm screwed from birth. They have the black pill mindset. Or they have the other mindset where they think they just gotta go to the doctor and get all these surgeries. It's like, that goofy shit, dog. If you were healthy and you lived in a more natural way, you would look better. You gotta find out what hair style fits your head. You know, make sure your skin's clear and hit the gym, dog. You don't have to do all that extra goofy shit. You don't need a damn 10-step program before you go to sleep every night. So that's number 5. Stop acting like a woman, dog. Some of y'all are way too concerned about your looks. Do you want to look good? Yes, but don't go overboard with it. Number 4, speaking soft. Speaking soft, you won't say anything with your chest. You're very hesitant about everything. This is okay when women do it. You know, when a woman's shy, we kind of don't look at her like anything's wrong. Some guys actually like very shy women. You know, some guys get turned on by women being really shy or being very timid. But when you're a man and you're shy and you're timid, women will be disgusted by you. Because they just look at you like, he's pathetic. How is he supposed to lead me when he's scared to talk to people? And you see this a lot amongst this younger generation. They scared to talk to people. They can't go out and talk to a random stranger because they never practiced that. They're so glued to their phone. They're so attached to that phone that they lack these social skills that are very simple. And I've had friends like this. I've had friends like this where it's like, you go out to eat and they like, Cole, can you ask her to get ketchup or something? It's like, bro, you got a mouth light? Why can't you ask the waitress? Like, you know, you don't know how to talk now? It's crazy to me, dog. Be able to speak with your chest. Be able to talk with some confidence. You know, for a long time in my life, I told y'all, I grew up with a pretty bad speech impediment. So I was very nervous. I was very timid for most of my life. So when I talked to somebody, a lot of times they couldn't understand me because I would be mumbling and then I had that speech impediment. But people will treat you completely different, the way you present yourself, the way you talk. Like I said, women, they can kind of slide with mumbling every now and then. If she's cute, she's hot, you know, you still deal with her even if she mumble. You know, even if she acts like she a 10-year-old little girl, you'll look past her shyness. But you as a man, and you mumbling, you seem like you scared to talk, they gonna look at you like you pathetic. My man, this dude acting like a broad. He can't say it with your chest. And people will treat you differently the way you present yourself, the way you talk. You know, we always talk about how the body game demands respect. But if you scared to talk behind the body game, it doesn't matter. If you have no confidence in yourself, it will show the minute you open your mouth. And that just shows the lack of confidence when you scared to ask for something. Oh, Cole, I don't want to ask for ketchup. You ask for ketchup. It's like, bro, what? And I just seen a comment someone left right before I started recording this video. He's like, dude, stop. I don't know exactly what he said, but he's saying, dude, stop thinking all your friends are hating on you. Most of the time when I talk about my friends hating me, I'm talking about people I used to be friends with. And I used to hang out with guys that were like scared to ask for ketchup. I used to hang out with motherfuckers like that. And those type of people are very insecure. So if you're that type of person, you need to start working on yourself. You need to go start doing shit that scares you. Because those people, they will always find an excuse not to improve. And then they're looking at their friends that are improving. They're going to be looking at you sideways. So anytime I talk about my friend this, my friend that, a lot of times it's people I used to be friends with, you know? Because I don't hang out with people like that anymore. Like I said, anybody around me now, they either in the gym, they hustling, they working towards something. That's the only type of people I want to be around. I don't want to be around the timid, shy people because I don't want that to rub off on me. Because I've been like that long enough in my life. I'm done living like that. I'm done being shy. I'm done mumbling all the time. I'm done with that shit. Be able to speak with your goddamn chest. You a grown ass man. You should be able to act like it. But a lot of guys don't act like it because this society shames the man. This society makes you soft-spoken, very feminine. Society will make you like that. Motherfucker, let your balls drop. Stop having your balls tucked up between your legs so tight. So that's number 4. Number 3 is seeking validation. I've seen a lot of guys like this too. You know, and I always talk about how posting online, you can really amplify your results with body game. But some guys get too invested into social media. Some guys, their whole life becomes about social media. Their whole life becomes about, oh, I'm following this girl, I'm liking this girl. Like, that's very feminine. You know, especially, you know, I've talked to some guys and they'll tell you, every single girl I hit, this, and, you know, they do way too much gossiping. And I'm not saying you can't have, you know, they call it locker room talk, I guess. Not to say I never do that. Like, sometimes I do tell the homies, oh, I hit this one chick and, you know, you feeling yourself. But it's a rare thing. But some guys, every time they talk to a girl or anything like that, they telling everybody. They telling all their business. And I promise you, women will be more into you when they know you don't run your mouth. Let me say that again. Women will be more into you when they know you don't run your mouth. You can get some coochie off of that, but the guys that run their mouth. You know, I remember one friend I met up with. He telling me, she showing me every single Instagram girl of the past 10 girls he hit in the past year, and it's like, I didn't ask you any of this. You know, you guys showed me the baddest one, like, bro, I was here and I did this and I flipped around, rotisserie chicken style. I'd be like, okay, bro, you was going crazy. But then he just kept going. It's like, bro, you ain't got to tell me all the details of every single woman. You know, that's more feminine. That's more gossiping. Like, you should be able to do your business and then, okay, we chilling. I don't have to seek for other people's validation all the time. And I see this quite often with a lot of guys. They look for validation from their friends. If they go sleep with a woman, they tell everybody because they want the validation from their friends so badly. You know, that was always weird to me. You know, that was always weird to me. Like, even back in high school when dudes did smash a chick, get a recording of it, and they go show everybody. I was always like, if I get a recording, I don't want to show anybody. That's between me and her. You know, and she gonna respect you more when it's like that. But so many girls back in high school, they get this shit leaked because the guy that smashed, he wants to brag to everybody. Oh, I smashed this girl, I got proof. And it's like, bro, what is you on? Dudes were out here leaking their own stuff. Now that's very feminine when you kissing and telling. When you can't just do something and let that be that, and you ain't got to speak on it. You got to run your mouth to everybody. That's very feminine. That shows you a weak man when you can't just handle your business and then go about it. You know, and you see it quite often amongst a lot of men. So stop seeking validation, dog. Stop trying to please everybody. Stop being such a people's pleaser. Let the women do that, dog. That's more of a woman trait, but now you see it more in the man of wanting to impress everybody. You know, be about your work, dog. It's nothing wrong with flexing every now and then, but some guys, they are living their life for other people. You just slept with that girl so you could brag about it, damn near. You know, and I heard one guy, I've mentioned this before. One YouTuber I met. And he talks about dating, and no, I'm not talking about Austin. I'm talking about another YouTuber. I remember he said, I'd rather show my homies a couple of 9s and 10s than have a whole bunch of 7s and 8s. And when he said that, it kind of stuck out to me, because I'm like, yo, that's kind of weird. Because I'm like, when I'm dealing with a woman, like, I'm not concerned what my friends think about the chick at all. If I'm messing with a girl, I'm not like, oh, I hope my homies approve of her. Like, I don't give a shit what my homies think. I hope they think she has a good personality, she's a solid woman, but I wouldn't care if they like, oh nah, she ain't all that. I don't care what my friends think about my girl looks, cause that's not their woman, that's my woman. You know, so when I heard this influencer say this, I was just like, yo, that's kind of weird. You know, like, he like, I'd rather show my homies a 9 and a 10 than a whole bunch of 8s. I'm just like, why is you worried about showing your homies at all? Like, why can't you just be about your business? Deal with the right woman that brings you back value instead of doing all this extra goofy shit, you know? And like I said, I ain't gonna say no names because I ain't trying to disrespect nobody, but it's just like, sometimes I hear shit like that and I'm like, dudes ain't thinking right. Dudes ain't moving right. When you dealing with a woman, your homie's opinion shouldn't be in your head at all. Unless he has a good view on life and he's like, he can't really tell if a woman's good for you or not. He's gonna think her booty's fat. Oh, he gonna see how slim her waist is. Like, I don't care what my homie think. You know? Nah, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're like, oh damn, shawty was bad. Like, yeah, that might feel good, that might stroke your ego a little bit, but that's not a concern in my head. You know, so that really stood out to me when I heard that guy say that. Next point is passive communication. And I see this quite often, dog. A lot of guys will move very passively. They won't say what it is. You know, even if you dated a girl, you know there's been times where you did something that bothered her, it hurt her feelings, and you like, what happened? And she like, oh, I don't know, nothing, don't worry about it, I'm okay. You know, she kind of like, she kind of like that, yeah, I'm okay, it's nothing, it's cool. And then she'll like bring it up like a day or two later, like, you know, it really bothered me when you did this, Cole. And it's like, god damn, why didn't you just say that 2 days ago? Well, I didn't want to get mad. Okay. You know, but a lot of guys move like that too. A lot of guys move like that too. Something will bother them and they won't say anything at all. You know, and like I said, usually when I talk about friends that I had to outgrow, like I don't hang out with them no more. But it's like, a lot of the shit that was going on with them, I would do something that bothered them. And to me, it wasn't a big deal at all. Like I didn't do anything at all to harm anybody or disrespect anybody. But it might have ruffled some feathers. And instead of coming to me as a man and just talking about it, it's like, they would just hold it in. They'd like hold a grudge against me, but wouldn't say what it is, you know? It's like they have no type of, they're not gonna confront anybody at all, you know? And it's like they aren't even capable of confronting somebody. They aren't even capable of telling somebody like, look, I ain't like when you did that, bro. Like, don't do that again. They would just be bothered by it and won't say anything. They'll act all cool, oh yeah, like that girl you date. Oh, it's cool, it's fine. Really, she like super butthurt, but she's not gonna say what it is. You know, don't be like that. Leave that to the women, dog. You acting like a bride when you over like, oh, I'm okay, I don't know, I don't care. No, like be able to say what it is, dog. And last but not least, number one, man, and this is what society really pushes on you. You're too in touch with your feelings. You know, and anytime I hear people talk about men's mental health, they always push the thing like, oh, men just need to go to a therapist. They need to express themselves. They need more people to talk to. And I always say like, yes, it's important to have people you can talk to, people you care about, because this is the loneliest generation ever. But at the same time, you really need purpose. You really need something you're striving for. A lot of guys are way too in touch with their feelings. That's why you can't get anything done, because you're always consistently worried about how you feel. Because I promise you, like, the average chick, she'll be okay. She can find a guy that got his life together, he got all his ducks in a row, and she can still be okay. But if you don't figure out how to get over your feelings all the time and doing shit when you need to do it rather than when you feel like doing it, you're not gonna get anywhere, dog. She'll be okay. She can have a decent life, but you're not gonna have a good life if you can't get over the fact that a lot of times you're not gonna feel like doing some shit, but you gotta do it anyway. You might be scared to do some shit, but you gotta do it anyways. And that's where the growth comes from. And that's when you're really gonna live your best life. You know, you can't be, oh, I don't feel like doing this, I don't feel like doing that, and just keep coping your whole life. And I always talk about coping because so many people do it. So many people do it, dog. Like, a lot of guys, you keep waiting for when you feel like doing it. You're never gonna hit the gym. You're never gonna talk to that girl. You're never gonna go apply for different jobs, whatever it may be. You're never gonna post that video. You're never gonna get out your comfort zone if you're always concerned about how you feel. But see, all this stuff is by design. Yes, all this stuff is by design. Making a man weak is all by design. You're easier to control when you have no backbone, when you stand for nothing. Yes, you're easier to control. They want you to be like that. And that's why you have to unlearn so much shit that was pushed onto you. Should you be connected with your feelings? Yes, but you should be able to turn it off and turn it on. You should have moments where it's like, maybe you're going through some shit, you want to cry, take a couple hours out your day, chill, go into your own little personal space and do what you do. You know, but this whole thing like, oh, you super connected with your feelings every single day. It's like, dog, you won't get anywhere like that. You won't get anywhere like that. And I hate that that's the shit that's really pushed onto you. You gotta be able to go when you don't feel like going. So going through it again, man, the 5 feminine habits that are making you a weak man, or should I say a weak boy. Number 5, over concern about your looks. Like I said, it's cool to look good. It's important to care about your looks. But a lot of guys go way too far, especially the younger crowd when it comes to looks maxing. They rating guys' faces, talking about different surgeries you could do and stuff. They breaking their leg to get a little taller. Like that's when the shit starts getting like goofball shit. You know what I'm saying? It just starts getting goofball. If you lived in a more natural way, you hit the gym and you take care of yourself, get a haircut, line up your beard, you'll be perfectly fine. You don't have to do all that extra shit. You don't have to have a 20-step program before you go to sleep. Like, a lot of guys go way too far, and it's really that consumerism that's trying to be, you know, they trying to sell products on you, man. So they gonna make you seem like you need goddamn everything under the sun to be an attractive man, to get women, when that's just not the case. You know, they go way too overboard. Number 4 is speaking softly, being very hesitant. Speak with your chest, man. Speak with your chest. Because I see this all the time with like a guy. It's like he's scared to talk. And like I said, I've been there. I grew up with a speech impediment. So I've been in those shoes before. And I can tell you, it's like day and night when you can actually speak with your chest. Like, you can actually say stuff and mean it. You know, like a lot of guys, they just stay inside, play video games all day, and they don't know how to interact. And then when they do interact, they're like super scared, and it's just very awkward. Like, you got to get away from that shit. That's why I gave up the video game when I was like 20, 21 years old, you know, because I was like, dog, I'm trying to get serious. I'm trying to really level up my life. Like, I'm not trying to just game my life away, dog, because I knew I had a lot of things I had to work on. Going on to point number 3 is seeking validation. Stop living for other people, man. You should be able to smash a girl and not tell everybody, you know, but like a lot of guys aren't capable of that. You know, like I said, I heard one guy talking, he's like, man, I'd rather show my homies a whole bunch of 9s and 10s instead of more 7s and 8s. And it's like, dog, you shouldn't be concerned about what your friends think about your girl when it comes to looks wise. If that's your piece, like, and she looks good to you, that's all that matters. You know, and you know, sometimes you see that, especially online, like guys be talking like, oh, she's not all that, she's not that attractive, but they know damn well they would smash that chick. They know damn well they highly attracted to a chick. Like, I always see that online, you know, because anytime I see a bop online, dudes be like, oh, she not even all that, she average, she mid. But it's like, whole time you like, bro, you know you would take that down like a hit, man. Stop playing, you know. But a lot of people be lying anyway. It's like, I think a lot of things are just best to keep between you, especially when you got a girlfriend, dog. Like, I've met guys and they're dating a girl and they would tell you all the business about their girl. You know, they be dragging their girl through the mud, telling you all the business. It's like, damn. Like, some things need to stay personal. Some things need to stay between you and her. Because I promise you, once you open that shit up, you open your relationship up. You open your relationship up to all your friends and stuff. That's when the shit gets really messy. Next is passive communication. You should be able to say how you feel. You know, you shouldn't be getting in a little mood. He's like, I'm not talking. I'm okay. I don't care. Y'all know how some of these girls be doing, man. They get in a bad mood and they won't even say what they're mad about. It takes like 2 or 3 days for her to say what she's actually mad about. Like I said, I've had roommates where it's like, I did something that bothered them and they want to speak on it. So now they got like a grudge against me, and I don't even know why. Well, it could have been squashed if you just told me like, hey, Cole, I don't like when you do that. Okay, cool. My bad. It won't happen again. You know, a lot of times a small conversation can fix a whole bunch of problems. And last but not least is you're too in touch with your feelings. You're way too in touch with your feelings. Like I say, society will push this whole mindset like, oh, you need to be able to express yourself, and men's mental health, we need to all get therapists and talk our feelings out. But it's like, no, you really need a purpose. You really need faith. You need fitness. You need freedom. And you also need fellowship. That's what you need. You don't need to sit down and talk to a random stranger that you don't know and they act like they can relate to you. And then you pop a whole bunch of pills so these companies can make a whole bunch of money off you. So they can get you relying on these pills for the rest of your life. And these pills just numb you. They're not addressing the real problem. They're just making you numb. How about we get down to the root on why you feel depressed, on why you always stress out, on why you're not enjoying this life? That's what we need to get to the root of. And a lot of times it's because you're living in an unnatural way. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. That's the 5 things that are making you a feminine man, making you look very weak, making you look pathetic, dog. And that shit gotta stop. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch y'all boys in the next one.